In the Trans Am Championship, Amy Ruman has been all smiles this year. That is until this melee at Mid-Ohio. Now her rivals are ready to try to snatch her title hopes.
Nothing's changed in my mind. We're going to keep on doing what we've been doing all season.
In TA2, the story's much the same. Cameron Lawrence is hoping his third straight championship doesn't slip away.
Mid-Ohio was really close, tough racing. With kind of tricky track conditions today, I think we're going to have to play it a little on the safe side.
Points, prestige, and cash all up for grabs as 60 cars do battle at Rainy Road America.
It's going to be an epic battle.
Trans Am next on the CBS Sports Network. Welcome to Road America. We're in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin for coverage of Trans Am, America's road racing series. Today, it's the Next Dimension 100. Hello again, everyone. I'm Rick Benjamin. NASCAR star Michael McDowell joins me for the call in a moment. Shea Adam has our coverage on pit road. We've got some great storylines here today. 65 cars will do battle across all 4 categories of Trans Am on this 4-mile racetrack. At the sharp end of the grid, TA title contenders Paul Fix and Amy Ruman qualifying toward the front, but the pole sitter, a surprise story. Shea Adam is with our pole winner.
Our pole sitter for today's race is Cliff Eben. And Cliff, it's your first pole of the year, but it's your home track. That's got to be a pretty special feeling.
Yes, it is. We got a lot of races here, a lot of years, and yeah, it's really good.
Track conditions today might be a bit tricky with the weather we've been having, but that might play to a bit of an advantage for you. Your history is different than some of these other people on track.
Well, I wouldn't mind if it rains, but with all the groups out there, it's going to equalize the speeds a lot, and then it'd be a lot of cars running over each other.
Best of luck to this hometown hero.
All right, the weather's certainly a question, Michael McDowell, as we take a look at the foggy skies from our broadcast position, and it could be a little dicey out there today.
Very tricky conditions for drivers, and this is the hardest conditions. As a driver, you want it dry or you want it wet. The in-between is so challenging.
Speaking of challenges, Amy Ruman is our points leader. She's won 5 times so far this year, but she had a very tough outing with Tommy Dreese a couple of weeks ago at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Chase for the Trigon Trophy in Trans Am. Ruman still with a 22-point lead over Paul Fix.
Yeah, Amy still got a commanding lead in this championship, but like you said, she can't let it slip away. Got to get back to those consistent results and running up front.
Doug Peterson, the defending champ, third in Trans Am 2. Gar Robinson has really closed in.
Gar has done a great job building a lot of momentum with his team. Got his first win at Mid-Ohio. Hopefully today he'll continue that momentum.
Downstairs to Shea.
Well, guys, the really exciting part of this race today is going to be the TA2 class because our points championship contenders are starting first, second, and third. Cameron Lawrence leads the championship standings, but he hasn't gotten a win in a long time. Gar Robinson starting outside of him, and behind them, Dylan McIvern in the 3rd position. The really interesting part, though, track conditions are different than anything these guys have driven on so far this year. It's been wet, it's been raining. As you can tell, I'm not ready to give up my raincoat yet. We're not supposed to get any more rain, but the sprinkles are falling. The fog is thick, and these guys are on slicks. This is going to be a crazy start to this TA2 race.
Take a look at your TA2 starting lineup. We've had great shows all season long. Lawrence, the points leader, his chief contender, his chief rival, Gar Robinson alongside.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, Gar's doing a great job, but Dylan McIvern's been doing an amazing job, always up front and challenging for wins.
Jordan Bernlauer, brand new in the 07, had problems after qualifying at Mid-Ohio. Joe Stevens getting quicker and quicker. Dick Danielson, great story. Member of the crew for Adam Andretti's team, raced here 40 years ago in Trans Am, was a Trans Am stalwart through the 80s. Joe Evan back in the 9th row. Mike McGahern, Justin Napoleon, and Kurt Rohrig in row 11. Jason Kennedy, Nate Stokey, Alan Malarchek will tag the TA2 field as we've got 29 drivers and cars ready to fight it out here today. And the Trans Am field rolling off for the first of a couple of pace laps. There's Eben on the pole and Paul Fix, who's won a couple of times this year, on the outside.
Yeah, Paul Fix has been a quiet challenger throughout the year, really putting the fight to Amy Ruman.
Kerry Hitt will line up in the 5th row. Greg Pickett back for his 2nd try as he comes out of retirement in that Jaguar. Oscar Tehran from Panama in the 6th row. Denny Lamers back there. Richard Grant and Mickey Wright rounding out the 18-car Trans Am field. These are the 800 horsepower, 2,600-pound rocket ships. TA3 American Muscle, TA3 International. Ernie Francis Jr., the Dominator, on the pole.
He's been so dominant. We can't say enough about him, winning a lot of races, poles, leading the most laps of the year, just trying to clinch that championship.
TA3 International, Steve Strymer and Cindy Lux, the Lux Performance Dodges, and Lee Saunders, the points leader. 3 Vipers, 1, 2, and 3.
We know those Vipers have big horsepower, long straightaways at Road America, but this is under rain conditions.
All right, Three-Dimensional Services Group providing our Triple Shot Showdown Awards. They'll be awarded after today's event at Road America. It's a championship within a championship in all 4 Trans Am categories. Paul Fix, Dylan McIvern, Ernie Francis, and Michael Camus are your leaders. We'll see how that plays out today as well. Paul Fix is challenging Amy Ruman for the Trans Am title. Shay talked with him earlier.
Paul Fix has already had 2 wins so far this year, and those 2 mean that at the end of the day, you should walk away with the Three-Dimensional Services Group Trans Am Triple Crown. What would that mean to you?
Well, the Triple Crown is 3 tracks that are, very difficult to win, and I've won 2 already at Lime Rock and Mid-Ohio. The 3rd one is here at Road America. So kind of a championship within the grand scheme of the championship, but it would be fantastic to win that trophy today.
And you mentioned the big championship. That is still the ultimate goal. We don't have that many races left in the season, so what do you need to do to try and make sure that you come home with the bigger prize?
Well, that's strategy like I did at Mid-Ohio. Run my own race, see what happens. That worked to my advantage, and we won there, so we'll see what happens here. I love this track. Road America's always been great to me since the 90s, so all we can hope for is good results.
That's all you can hope for, and that's all you can do. Thank you, Paul.
Now, Paul Fix with 2 wins, Amy Ruman with 5. This is round 8 of the 2015 Trans Am Championship. A couple of invaders from Panama. Oscar Tehran and his former Rocket Sports Jaguar, the 17. They've had problems with that car all weekend. They raced these cars in Panama, Oscar needing a tow to get down pit road. His teammate today, the 35, also from Panama, Mario Barcenas in the Abuelo car. That's a Chevrolet Corvette. Talked to Mario before the start today. Looking forward to his first opportunity to go racing here at the very fast Road America course. Now, because of the weather conditions today, Michael, Trans Am officials deciding, hey, we'll start this under caution and run at least a lap under yellow, maybe blow the fog up a little bit.
And it gives the drivers opportunity to see where the moisture is, know where they need to be. The worst thing is to hit a patch of moisture on slick tires on the start of the race.
Tadej Buralski, the chief competitor with Ernie Francis Jr. for TA3A championship honors. He'll be on the front row when we come back.
Trans Am Racing on CBS Sports Network is being brought to you by Three-Dimensional Services Group. Prototype, production, proven. And by Bullet Spray on truck bed liners. High caliber protection.
About set to go racing at Road America. Trans Am America's Road Racing Series, the Next Dimension 100, set for 25 laps. 100 miles around this 4-mile circuit. First lap already under caution. Safety car heads in. We'll have a single file start, so Cliff Eben will lead him up the hill to the green flag.
Absolutely, and I think this is a great decision Trans Am's officials made here. Start at single file. Let's keep the cars together as much as we can without causing a big mess in turn 1.
Eben, Paul Fix, and that's Doug Peterson in the Cadillac in 4th spot behind points leader Amy Ruman. We are underway at Road America. John Baucom back there behind the 59 of Simon Gregg trying to defend. Jim McAleese on the inside in the 03 as the field emerges out of fog, and Paul Fix takes the lead.
A very clean start by Paul Fix, and we saw moisture coming off the tires of these TA cars, so still a lot of moisture on the racetrack.
Trouble. We've got a car off. That looks like Amy Ruman's machine off in the grass already. Here comes Eben back alongside Paul Fix.
And like I mentioned earlier, this is the most challenging circumstances for a driver. Trying to find the line, trying to see where you need to be.
Take a look at this from Amy Ruman's onboard camera. Little contact there, it looked like.
Looks like she got in the gas a little bit too hard, slick, cold tires.
Oh, no.
A lot of damage to that Corvette.
The championship leader, Amy Ruman, we saw the car on the grass. I thought she had saved it at first, but no. Into the tire barrier hard, some front end damage to the 23. Here's one more look from Simon Gregg's on board.
And you saw Simon Gregg have a big correction there. Same spot, Amy just had a little bit too much power down at that point and it got sideways.
So this is a golden opportunity for Fix. He can pounce here, but Eben goes right back by him.
Yeah, Cliff Evans doing a great job here. A little bit of tire lock up there. Like I said, tricky conditions. You get down to this new patch of asphalt here that Road America has laid down, and it's slick. Anytime that you go from old asphalt to new asphalt, there's a transition. And when you add moisture to it, it's even scarier.
Peterson third in the 87, the three-dimensionalservices.com Cadillac that he debuted at Mid-Ohio. McAleese up to fourth now in the 03 car. Good early start for Jim McAleese. Simon Gregg in fifth. John Bauckham back there in sixth as Cliff Evans starts to lengthen his lead.
Going through the high-speed kink for the very first time under wet conditions, tiptoeing around. These guys are doing a great job keeping the cars on the racetrack.
Now we're on these Hoosier slicks. There are rain tires in the paddock area. It's not hard rain at the moment as McAleese takes a look on the 87 car for third. There's Gregg and Bauckham battling behind him. The choice to go slicks or SEC officials saying, hey, it's a dry race as Greg Pickett makes a move in the white Jaguar here to the inside. How slick is this going to be on slick tires? It's really tough.
It's going to be very challenging, especially with no heat in the tires. You see a little bit of contact there. But what determines whether or not you'll be able to go to full rain tires is there moisture on the track to keep that tire cool enough? If they were to slap on full rains right now, the tires might be better for 1 lap or 2 laps, but then they're going to burn up very quickly. So right now, it's just trying to tiptoe around, find where the slick part of the racetracks are, and build some heat into your tires.
On board there quickly with David Pintark, one of our Replay XD on board looks coming out of the front stretch as he was trying to get by Greg Pickett. Amy Ruman, meantime, back on the racetrack behind Mickey Wright's Jim Durhak machine. So Amy's damage to the right front corner not as severe as we thought it might have been, but she is still off the pace.
Absolutely. Looks like Amy got away with that a little bit. It has a little bit of cosmetic damage, but back on to speed. And this is a long race. We are going to see tricky conditions, which always generates caution. So she's got to keep her head in the game. She's got to be smart. She's the points leader for a reason. She does a good job of managing these races, and she's got to do the same thing today.
Blowing by Mickey Wright on the fast and long front stretch here. Meantime, Paul Fix, Doug Peterson, and here comes the 03 of Jim McAleese trying to make a move to pick up a spot.
And passing under these conditions is very challenging because when you get to that inside, your normal passing line, there's typically a lot of grip. But when you're not running there all the time and the rain comes down, you just don't know what you have. And the last thing you want to do is overshoot it and wipe yourself out.
Out of 5, up the hill to the left-handed turn 6. Second spot belongs to Fix in the white 4 car. Third, the zebra striped 87, the Cadillac Coupe there of Doug Peterson. Beautiful new car. And then the 03 of McAleese. Jim McAleese and David Pintark, a couple of guys who've just come into this a couple of times. We take a look at your bullet liner scoring strip, top of your screen. Keep track of where your favorite driver is in the early laps here at Road America. And you see Fix a little sideways out of the corner. McAleese doing a very nice job in that 03.
And you see guys that have a lot of experience, a lot of racecraft do well in these slick conditions because it's not about just wrestling that car as hard as you can, but being smart and calculated and hitting your marks.
Meantime, a smart young driver is Cameron Lawrence in the Mopar #1 brand new Dodge Challenger that they debuted at Mid-Ohio a couple of weeks ago. There's Mickey Wright off the pace in the 9 car. Meantime, the runner-up in TA2, that brand new Mustang, Dylan McIvern, who won at Brainerd.
Now you got to remember, these TA2 cars are on those bias ply Hoosier tires. You're going to see them be very aggressive because those bias plies are going to be a little bit more forgiving, a lot more grip, especially in these tricky conditions. They build heat so much quicker. So the gap between the TA and the TA2 cars aren't quite as much in these conditions.
Great crowd on hand as always in Road America at Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. In TA2, it's Lawrence, McIvern, and Gar Robinson. A couple of laps are on the board already, and we will be right back. Welcome back to Road America, Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. The Next Dimension 100, round 8 of the 2015 Trans Am Championship. Alongside Michael McDowell, I'm Rick Benjamin. Side-by-side duel here in TA2. The 70 of Tony Ave driving around the 74 of Gar Robinson. Tony putting a wheel in the dirt, but he's familiar with that. Making a move and picking up a nice spot.
That was a big slide from Tony Ave through the highest part of the track, the kink. I cannot believe he pulled that off.
Tony, a guy who's got lots of experience in snowmobiles. He's driven dirt track sprint cars. He's not afraid of any weather conditions.
No, he's not afraid of any racetrack either. He's a veteran race car driver, always fast, always hanging it out. He's one of those guys as a fan that you'd love to watch. You'd love to be down in the corner and watch him slide around a Trans Am car.
In that Ford Mustang, now up into third, getting around championship contender Gar Robinson. Tony with the victory at Lime Rock earlier this season. They've struggled a lot, though. They had motor problems at Mid-Ohio a couple of weeks ago. Here comes Amy Ruman, the championship leader in Trans Am. 5 wins this season in the McNichols Company 23. Got off exiting turn 1 on lap 1 and has been trying to make her way closer to the front ever since. She needs a full course yellow or two.
Absolutely. She needs to get this field bunched back up and just be able to pick her way through the field and get as many points as possible. Today for her is not about winning the race. It's recovering from the mistake and getting much valuable points.
Amy Ruman sitting 15th in your three-dimensional services group scoring strip, top of your screen. Meantime, we saw the white 66 off. That's Denny Lamers. He's the teammate of the race leader, Cliff Evan, up here in Wisconsin, the Stump Ford Mustang. Denny getting off and into the tire barrier as well. Looks to me, Michael, as though that exit to one's pretty slick.
Absolutely. The track is very treacherous right now. Even though we're not seeing a lot of standing water, the fact that there's still moisture on the racetrack, we're seeing raindrops on the camera. These are very tricky conditions. And if you just get on the gas just a slight bit too much, you break that traction and you're along for the ride.
In TA3 International, the Dodge Viper of Lee Saunders won the first couple of races this year. He has taken over the lead from the Lux Performance Vipers. Then Sawinski, meantime, at his Porsche 996, the Temp Air 94, off in the grass, gets refired. Let's take another look at what happened. You might got a little help there from Paul Fix.
Looks like they were racing hard for that third spot, and unfortunately just innocent bystander in the middle.
Nice move there by Sawinski, backing that car up onto the grass out of harm's way and able to relaunch and rejoin the TA3 International battle. Meantime, we check in up front with the race leader, Cliff Evan, who started on the pole in that 36 car, the Ford Mustang out of Appleton, Wisconsin, the Stump Ford McMahon Group Ford. Doing a great job out front.
Absolutely, having a commanding lead here, controlling the race, doing a great job. You see him sliding the car off the corner, but he's not working it so hard. It just seems like they have that car dialed in for today's conditions.
Now, these cars are lighter than the Sprint Cup machines you normally drive, but the horsepower is kind of comparable. How hard is it to keep yourself from standing on the gas in a car like?
I cannot tell you how disciplined you have to be in these conditions, because as a race car driver, you're getting as much as you can every single corner, but you just touch the throttle a little bit, you light up those tires. So he's doing a great job of managing that wheel spin.
Doug Peterson, the threedimensional.com 87 car, that brand new Cadillac Coupe out of Tony Ave's shops, now up to second spot as he tries to reel in the race leader, headed out of turn 5. He's got a long way to go, though, to catch up to Cliff Evan.
And what we see from Doug Peterson is we always see very, very much consistency. He's not a guy that's going to make a lot of mistakes. He always waits till the end of the race before he pushes really hard. So he's just managing these conditions, managing this race. We could see this track dry all the way out and get back to 100%, just getting as much as you can. But for right now, Doug Peterson is managing this whole entire race.
Jim McAleese in the 03, the McAleese and Associates Chevrolet up to third position. Paul Fix, who's second in the championship, fading back to fourth. And then we've got some TA3 American muscle cars right behind as it starts to mist on the camera lens again, heading toward the horseshoe.
And that's what's so tricky. As soon as you start figuring out, okay, this is how hard I can push it through the corner, this is how much speed I can carry, then you start seeing mist on your windshield, and all of a sudden you got to regather that and say, okay, how hard can I push it? How hard do I need to save? Very tricky conditions, especially when it's drying out and then the rain starts again.
Bullet liner running order, top of your screen in TA2, Justin Napoleon, Joe Evan, Mike McGahern, 19th, 20th, and 21st. Simon Craig trying to move by a TA3 entry. There's John Baucom. And right behind him, that brand new 31, Dave Rouleau from Wisconsin, the Rouleau Racing Group Corvette C7R bodywork. That is beautiful. That's out of the Jim Durhag shops in Minnesota. And Rouleau doing a nice job at his home racetrack as well. Right in behind Greg, a former champion. Baucom, a longtime contender in this series. And there's Rouleau in that white 31.
Absolutely. Tricky conditions, doing a great job making his debut here. And like I said, this is one of those things where, as a race car driver, it doesn't get any more challenging than this. And you see a car spun out here.
The 07 in TA2. That's Jordan Berlower, the Pro Kart Indoors Camaro. Berlower with us at Mid-Ohio, qualified well, unable to take the green flag, but back here, and now watch what happens as he goes into turn 5.
He got on the brakes, and what happened, he had his right side tires on the curbing. The curbing is painted, and anytime you have moisture on that wet paint, there is no grip at all. Didn't know his right sides were on those tires when he hit the brake. Luckily, he's able to keep it through the grass and back on the racetrack, and that's tough to do. You got to remember, it's been raining. That grass is so slick, very easy to get stuck and not be able to get back on the race course.
Just a local yellow there. Meantime, let's check in with Ernie Francis Jr. in the Breathless Performance Chevrolet. He has been dominant again this year in TA3 American Muscle as he swings to the inside of one of the Dodge Vipers, one of the Lux Performance Group cars. Now, this may be a case where Francis Jr. in a car that's a little lighter with quite a bit less horsepower than the Viper is actually better suited to a wet day.
Absolutely. These conditions play in his favor. You know, we saw those Vipers, they qualified so strong, but you got to remember, Road America's got very, very long straightaways, probably the longest of any racetrack that we go to. And so those Vipers aren't able to stretch their legs. They're not able to carry that speed through the corner and onto those straightaways. So Ernie Francis having a good time mixing it up with all of them.
Battle for 6th here. Tony Buffamani and Mike Cope's 34 in TA2. And the 72 of Shane Lewis, one of the 74 Range Resort Chevrolets. But the caution is out. We go full course yellow. The 2 yellow flags being displayed at the flag stand top of the hill. We'll show you why here. The 35, Mario Barcenas from Panama City, Panama, in that green Corvette, getting off in some of the wet territory here and bringing out a caution. Cliff Eben continues as your leader. Stephen Lustig right behind him, the 05, one of the TA2 entries today, back in 20th spot, first time out for him this year. And we climb on board with David Pinterick in the Kreider Racing Chevrolet. Pinterick with a nice couple of runs earlier this season, trying to make his way toward the front here in Road America. In the next Dimension 100, Eben, Peterson, and McAleese, top 3. We'll be right back.
Trans Am Racing on CBS Sports Network is being brought to you by Racing Electronics, #1 in race communications worldwide. And by Replay XD. The new Prime X is here. Record, replay.
Back at Road America, Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. Coverage of the Next Dimension 100, round number 8 of the 2015 Trans Am season. Alongside Michael McDowell, I'm Rick Benjamin. Shea Adam with our coverage on pit road and in the paddock. Brainerd winner Dylan McIvern's Universe Mustang is on pit road with heavy damage. Let's find out more. Here's Shea.
As bad as the damage looks to Dylan McIvern's car, the real problem lies within the brakes. The young man went to put his foot to the floor and nothing happened. So the crew is trying to fix it, but this is not something that can be done quickly. Dylan will go down at least 3 laps.
Everything hot under the right front corner of that car, Michael McDowell. Never good when you have no brake pedal.
Absolutely. This is a terrible condition for a driver. We see a replay here. Dylan goes down into turn 5, and luckily this was the right turn to have a problem. There's an escape runoff there with tire barriers. We saw damage on the car, so obviously he was not able to get stopped before hitting the tires. But had that happened in turn 1 or turn 2, could have been a very serious accident for him.
So Dylan McIvern's car back on pit road. Tommy Riggins and the crew going to work to try to get him back on the racetrack. One of the big storylines this weekend here at Road America as we circulate under caution, the arrival in Trans Am 2 of Vaughn Gittin Jr. If you follow the world of drifting at all, you know the name. He's one of the very best in the world at this. Vaughn bringing one of his drift cars here and doing some exhibition runs. He takes a ride in this Ford Mustang fielded by Mike Cope Racing out of Florida, the Monster Energy Drink 25. This is the drift machine. Vaughn did some demo runs in this car earlier this weekend. We talked to him before the start about how do these skills translate to Trans Am.
I've been having an absolute blast out here, doing a lot of learning. You know, I've reached for the handbrake a couple times in turn entries, but really starting to do well, get some speed down. You know, the Road America course is amazing. Being on the track with, 60, 70 drivers out here, TA1, TA2, TA3, it's a blur out there, but starting to do well and put it all together. And the car control that I've learned from drifting translates really well to these Trans Am cars, and I'm just pumped on it.
Vaughn's doing a great job all weekend. Obviously a huge learning curve, but like you said, he's used to sliding big, heavy cars around with lots of power. These Trans Am cars fit into his wheelhouse very much.
I talked to him on Friday here this weekend. I was very impressed with how excited he was to be part of Trans Am. Looks like something he may want to do more of as the months and years go by. Green flag is back out. All 3 divisions running together here at Road America because there's so much real estate. Cliff Evans says, thanks, boys, for the battling behind me. See you later as he exits one and adds to that lead.
Absolutely, and unlike NASCAR where you see lead lap cars and then followed by cars that are laps down, we have all 3 categories mixed in together, a lot of traffic, and they're going to just have to get this sorted out in the first few corners.
Second place runner Doug Peterson, the 3dimensionalservices.com Cadillac there, sifting his way through TA3 traffic, trying to get back into the front. Meantime, Evans seizes the opportunity. Here comes Peterson now, swinging around that 07 car. Here comes McAleese right behind him in third as they take advantage of the opportunity.
Absolutely, TA cars have a lot of power down this straightaway. They're able to get through that traffic very quickly. But as you can see, the track's very damp still getting down into turn 5. Your brakes are not have any temperature, your tires no temperature. You got to tiptoe around until you can build some heat.
TA cars on the inside, that's Bauckham behind the 31 car, also behind Paul Fix's machine, moving to the inside, trying to get closer to the race leader, but Evan able to set the pace, taking advantage of this and adding to his advantage here as they run around the horseshoe on the high side of the Road America circuit. One of the interesting things, Michael, about racing here, I think, is this place is so huge, you can have different weather conditions in different parts of the track, can't you?
Absolutely, and we're seeing that right now today. There's areas of the racetrack.
Tommy Archer in the C3 Controls Chevy goes around at the end of turn 5 as well, able to get that car pointed back in the right direction, but looks like he ran out of racetrack.
And it's hard to tell from that replay. We see him run wide in turn 5, not sure what caused it, but luckily Tommy did a great job. Not a lot of damage, able to fire up and take back off.
Archer gets the car swung around. One more look from inside the race car.
It looks right there, just had a bad downshift. Rear hop started to happen, collected it up, and Tommy did a veteran move there. Instead of running into the car right in front of him and slowing himself down. And we have another accident happen at the same exact time, different end of the racetrack. Man, almost had it woed down before he got into the tires. Not too much damage right there.
Joe Napoleon, the Turnkey Industries Chevrolet. That's another one of the Tony Ave Motorsports entries. See what happens here in the entrance to the corner.
Got a lot of speed getting in there. Had a little bit of the same thing, wheel hop getting into the corner. And once he hit that grass, it just never slowed down.
Now, there's some people who say a car will pick up speed on grass like that. Really, you just don't slow down.
Yeah, it does not pick up speed, obviously, but what happens is when you're on the asphalt and the tires are sliding, you're de-accelerating, then you hit the grass and there's no grip, and that de-acceleration actually slows down. And it's a very, very difficult feeling as a driver when you have no control. You're not slowing down, you're not turning, you're just along for the ride.
Claudio Burton in the 7 car. Bullet Liner, the new sponsor on that race car this weekend. Burton on the inside of this right-hander, trying to work his way up in the TA field. Tony Ave, meantime, in the 70 car, leading TA2. Cameron Lawrence trying to close in on him.
Yeah, Tony Ave got up to the front here. Cameron Lawrence, now that track is drying out in some spots, you see him pushing hard and sliding that Dodge around. I love those new colors. That red and black Dodge looks awesome. Tony Ave showing him the way around Road America.
ThreeDimensionalServicesGroup.com scoring strip, top of your screen. Keep an eye on where your favorite Trans Am competitors are. Pickett in 7th, Pintarek 8th, Simon Gregg 9th. Right behind this battle for the TA2 lead, you see the championship leader, Amy Ruman, in the 23, trying to get by Claudio Burton and sift her way closer to the front of the field. With 60 cars taking the green here, even on a 4-mile racetrack, you are going to be busy all day long. Ave moving by Cindy Lux in the Lux Performance Group 45, the Dodge Viper. Cindy, a TA3 International winner this season in Trans Am competition. Kids having a great time here. A good day to get wet on the grass at Road America. Everybody enjoying the action of the Next Dimension 100 Trans Am racing on the CBS Sports Network. We'll be right back in central Wisconsin. One of the fun things about coming to race at Road America, Michael McDowell, there's a go-kart track on the ground.
Oh, it's so much fun. I always love coming to Road America. Get your crew guys together, other drivers together, go out there on the go-karts and have a great time.
A lot of drivers and competitors in Trans Am. Gar Robinson, many others bringing their crew guys over on Friday afternoon after practice and qualifying was over. Everybody checks the timesheets, even in a rental go-kart.
Absolutely competitive. You have to be. You want to win everything you drive.
Gar Robinson, meantime, in the 74, second in the championship. Adam Andretti in the Lids 44 car, running the Chevrolet again this weekend from the ECC team, fighting it out for third as they come up the hill here on the main straightaway.
Absolutely, Adam Andretti in the draft there, trying to get a shot at Guy Robinson, trying to pick where he can do it. And you can see the draft is so big here at Road America. You can get big runs, 4, 5, 6 mile an hour difference just by following that car in front of you.
Tony Buffamani back there one spot further. There's Cameron Lawrence up ahead in the red Dodge in second spot. So third, fourth here. Buffamani fifth as we show you the Bullet Liner TA2 scoring. 14 laps in the books of 25 scheduled today. Adam Andretti usually makes a lot of noise in these things. Hasn't really happened so far today.
Well, we're still about halfway through the race. There's time for him to do that. Been running consistent, no problems, staying on the racetrack, and that's what they need. They need a solid finish. They've had so much drama throughout the year on the racetrack, on pit road. He just needs a good, solid race where nothing happens, no damage, no spin outs, no contact. He can just build that confidence and build that momentum.
Adam Andretti with a race victory earlier this year has run in Trans Am a couple of times when not busy with his TA2 responsibilities. Here's the two-time defending series champion, the youngster Cameron Lawrence, in that brand new Mike Miller Dodge that debuted at Mid-Ohio. Second spot there in this battle for third and fourth. Adam Andretti's got a couple of noteworthy names on his crew. One of those, Dick Danielson, a driver a little north of retirement age normally. He raced in Trans Am 40 years ago. We talked to him before the start.
Well, it's a great opportunity that ECC Motorsports has given me, and I'm loving every minute of it.
How has Trans Am racing changed since you ran the Oldsmobile back in the old days?
Well, it's almost made a full circle because they came up with this new TA2 version, and it's a lot like what we used to run. So it's come back around, and a lot of my old stuff fits in just fine with that.
Treat to talk to Dick earlier. He told me in this interview before the start, he and Greg Pickett ran together at this place 40 years ago, and he was reminiscing with Greg. Greg just coming back out of retirement in his Jaguar to run in Trans Am after several years away from the driver's seat. Greg in action here today as well, was up in the 7th spot earlier. 14 laps complete. TA3 American Muscle running order top of your screen. TA3 and in trouble for the 02 car. John Atwell in the AJ Lab Portal Chevrolet sticking that one in the tire barriers. Tough break for John. Looks like another victim of the wet conditions here.
Slid off there, got heavy into the tire barriers, a lot of damage. Not sure he's going to be able to recover from that.
That will be at least a local caution as the 02 is buried cowl deep in the soft wall here at Road America in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. We continue under green most parts of the racetrack, though. Great battles in all 4 categories of Trans Am action. Our next telecast will be the season finale, Daytona International Speedway, in the month of November. Championships on the line. Trans Am, Doug Peterson, 2nd spot. Jim McAleese in 3rd. McAleese looking for 2nd on the inside of the defending series champion. He may have him here.
Side by side, great racing into Canada corner. Jim McAleese did a great job using that slower lap traffic as a pick to get around Doug Peterson.
And full course caution because of the Atwood incident of the 02 car. So McAleese taking advantage just before the caution waves. Found a little dry racetrack to work with there.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a great pass. I mean, when he drove down into the corner, knew Doug was going to be held up just slightly with that lap traffic and used that opportunity to make the pass.
Safety car will pick up Cliff Eben for your restart lead. Meantime, one of our TA3 International contenders, Jerry Green, is behind the wall.
Jerry Green, it's never a good thing to see your car smoking, especially in the middle of a race. What happened out there?
Oh, it's a bad deal. Well, unfortunately, we blew a front left radiator. I think we took a stone chip or something and it knocked it out. But it was a great race. We ran out on slicks, and the competition was up on rain tires, so we were reeling them in the second part of the race very, very quickly. So it's too bad.
We'll get him at the next one, right, Jerry?
Oh, yeah, that's the way it works. Thanks.
Jerry Green in that Tom and Jerry liveried Porsche. Great guy. I've gotten to know him over the last couple of years. Always smiles no matter what happens.
Well, and how can you not smile? You're at the racetrack, getting to do what you love to do. The day did not finish how Jerry wanted, but at the same time, he had a great time at Road America.
David Pintaric's crew, meantime, gesturing. Problems for Pintaric in the 57. We jump on board with David. Looks like he's got a motor problem.
You can see him working that throttle. Obviously, lost fire in the motor. Not sure what caused it, but definitely can't get it running at this point.
So the Kreider Racing 57, Pintaric having a good day here, stopped on the course. So the double yellow flags coming out for Pintaric, among other things, and we are under full course caution here at Road America. So an interesting day to say the least. Cliff Eben has led all the way so far. 60-plus cars taking the green flag across the 4 categories of Trans Am competition. We'll be right back with more. We're in the Kettle Moraine district of Wisconsin for the Next Dimension 100. You're watching Trans Am, America's road racing series. Ernie Francis Jr. leads TA3 American Muscle. Welcome back to Road America. Trans Am Racing on CBS Sports Network. The Next Dimension 100 under caution. David Pintaric and his Trans Am machine, his Kreider Racing Chevrolet, losing power on a part of the race course, bringing out the double yellow flags. Looks like the safety car is headed in. We're about set to get a restart. Time limit in play here as well today, scheduled for 25 laps. We might not get to go the full distance. These races limited to 75 minutes of action. Field accelerating up the hill behind the 36. Cliff Eben, the race leader. You've got another Trans Am car, Alan Lewis's machine behind him, that bronze Corvette. And you've got some TA3 entries there, just as we saw before. Jailbreak on the front straightaway here, on board with Simon Gray. Amy Ruman going by on the inside, so Amy Ruman moving solidly into the top 10 here. Tony Ave on the outside of the 70, your TA2 leader. Wow, some rubbing in turn 1.
And they're being very aggressive. We're getting late into this race. Everybody knows it's go time.
Jim McAleese finally makes that move again and gets around Doug Peterson. Passed him earlier. Peterson got back by. McAleese puts him away once more.
They've had a great battle here for this runner-up position, fighting back and forth. Doug Peterson surrenders right now, but it's not over.
So McAleese moves back to second. Second and third place cars working on Richard Grant's 30 car, the Grant Racing Chevrolet out of Germantown, Tennessee. Into 5, McAleese by a car length over Peterson. Grant lets them go. Oh, in trouble. The 34 of Tony Buffamante off in the grass. A couple of cars having a slow. Looks like, oh, more contact there. A couple of the TA3 competitors getting together coming up the hill.
And this is at a part of the race course where you cannot see. So the flag workers have to do a great job letting everybody know. You get to the top of this hill, and all of a sudden you have a roadblock like
Carnage,
right
Paul
here.
Fick's in trouble. Whoa, what is going on here? It got very slick in that part of the racetrack. Is that race leader Cliff Evan off in the grass? We see Lawrence Loshak's Ford, the Ray Bestas 5 car there. We see Joe Stevens. Some cars getting through on the grass. Loshak trying to restart. McCavern back out on the racetrack. We had contact with one of the Porsches. There's Stevens in the 11 car, missing some fender sheet metal. Tony Abe trying to sift past him. No, I'm sorry, that's the 14 car. That's one of Abe's team cars getting back up on the racetrack. Everybody gets through. The road's not blocked anymore. Let's take another look. Oh, Evan had problems. That's what started this. The race leader in trouble.
And who knows, Cliff Evan may have had an engine problem, might be fluid down on the racetrack. That would explain the melee. I can't guarantee that's what happened, but by looking at the carnage behind him, I would say that there was oil down on the racetrack.
Paul Fick's, one of the championship leaders, spins coming out of the corner, heads hit a couple of times. On board here, we're back on board with Simon Brake. Contact with the 94 of Sawinski. Simon to the grass. Gar Robinson with the 360 there.
There's so much going on, I'm not sure what happened first. We're going to need another shot of a replay.
Take another look. We're on board here with Todd Napierowski, Adam Andretti going by on the inside. There you can see Robinson going around.
It looks like that may have been what started this whole process. Is Gar Robinson got sideways, top of the hill, blind corner, restart, lots of cars together, and it just doesn't stop. They just keep running into each other.
Joe Stevens in the 11. I don't think he saw what was going on in front of him. He went charging in there a little too hot, knocked some of the bodywork off the 11. The 83 goes through. Let's get back on board here with Chuck Cassaro, another view.
Yeah, it just looks like Gar Robinson got in a little bit aggressive, got a little bit loose, started that chain reaction. Probably wasn't any fluid down, just everybody being aggressive on a restart, and melee broke.
Play XD onboard views there from Cameron Lawrence's rear-facing camera. Yeah, well, Robinson just went right around coming off the corner. All this with the Cliff Evan engine problems hands the race lead to Jim McAleese in the 0-3. Wow.
And who would have thought that Jim McAleese would be in the lead here after fighting so hard with Doug Peterson? Cliff Evan controlling the race all day long, and all of a sudden he's sitting in the catbird seat with a very short period of time here left in the race.
Now McAleese had that podium finish. Look at the rain coming down here. There was something else going on. This started the whole situation. The 91 of Napoleon, the 34 of Buffalmoni off in the grass. There's Tom West in the 95. The bullet liner 7 of Claudio Burton was in the grass, wrecked hard. The 9 car with contact. On board with Napoleon. This is Joe in the 91. Claudio Burton turned into him, and Buffalmoni got in him. So Joe Napoleon, who'd been in the tire barrier earlier, back on the racetrack. Starter with the checkered flag in hand for the field. Looks like this one will end under caution. And Jim McAleese, one of the upset stories of the year. Jim McAleese about to collect his first career Trans Am victory in the McAleese & Associates Chevrolet, the 03 car. McAleese over the stripe under the checkered flags after a podium finish at Mid-Ohio, his career best to that point. And here's Tony Ave for TA2 honors. Cameron Lawrence looked as though he wanted to try to sneak by. Coming up the hill, Ave sees him, moves over. Can't pass under yellow anyway. Ave is your TA2 winner.
A great battle throughout the racetrack. So much happened on that last lap there. We have to regroup and play it all back, but what we do know for sure is Jim McAleese is going to be in victory lane. Tony Ave looks to take the lead and the win there in TA2. There's so much that happened on that last lap, so many accidents. Who would have thought that this would end it under caution, and now we see the rain come down.
Steve Strymer in the 42 car, the Lux Performance Dodge. He survives his teammate Cindy Lux and Lee Saunders in the 84 who led laps earlier. It's Strymer getting the TA3 International victory today here in the Next Dimension 100. Huge upset for Jim McAleese. We'll talk to our winners next.
Trans Am Racing on CBS Sports Network is being brought to you by Three Dimensional Services Group, Prototype, Production, Proven, and by Bullet Spray on truck bed liners, high caliber protection.
A wild one today in the Next Dimension 100 at Road America at Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. Jim McAleese, the upset winner. He's in victory lane with Shea Adam.
Make a pattern out of it.
We really are. Last time it was second. Now you get the nice gold trophy for finishing first. What's it like to come first at Road America?
It's very greasy and wet and sloppy out there. Everybody drove great, though. Everybody was very responsible, thank God. I had parts of my body going all the way up into my throat. I was so nervous. We had a couple great restarts. All the credit really goes to the team. They did everything, gave me a fantastic car. And the guys on the radio telling me to be calm, relax, don't be stupid, pass at the right time. They were like angels from heaven.
Well, it certainly worked, because now you get your first win, and congratulations.
Got the fist bump like we saw at Mid-Ohio, the hug for Shea Adam. Jim McAleese from Leesburg, Virginia. You love to see a guy get his first career victory.
Yeah, genuinely excited. First time in victory lane. A great guy in the garage. He even gave the cameraman a fist pump.
Peterson and Buckham, the rest of the podium. Dave Rouleau with a nice fourth in his first start of the year. Greg Pickett out of retirement to finish in fifth spot in front of championship leader Amy Ruman. Ninth spot goes to Paul Fix, despite that huge wreck on the backside of the racetrack. The rest of your TA results. In TA2, the Wimbledon Disc Brakes running order. Ave, your winner. Lawrence and Robinson, the podium in front of Shane Lewis. How about Vaughn Gittin in fifth spot?
Not bad for a drifter.
Man, I'll tell you, that was a great run for him in all the carnage there. But take a look at this as we show you the rest of the field and how they came across the stripe at the checkered flag. Dylan McIvern in 26th.
Really hurting his championship contention.
All right, let's talk to Tony Ave. He's with Shea.
Good day for Tony Ave. You come home with another win, your second so far this season. What's it feel like to be back in victory lane?
Good. This is where we're used to be, and it's just not so easy anymore. The TA2's thing is super competitive. I've had a little bad luck, but we introduced a new engine that DSS built in the Lamers Mustang, and I'm just happy I could win the race for Denny Lamers and DJ and everybody at the team.
What's the plan for the rest of the season?
I need to win more of these things.
4 races to go. Tony
so.
still with a championship opportunity if he can get back to victory lane a few more times. Now in TA3 American Muscle, again, Ernie Francis Jr.
I love Ernie Francis Jr. I never get tired of talking about him. Tricky conditions, still pulls off the victory.
Ty Napierowski, who started on the front row of the Tremec 39, has to settle for 7th. Tough day at the office there. TA3 International, Strymer, Lux, and Saunders, the top 3. Strymer coming from behind to win.
And we saw all 3 Vipers on the podium. First time we've seen that.
Shea caught up with Steve Strymer outside victory lane as well.
Steve Strymer, you come away with a win today, but that looked like a pretty crazy last lap. What was it like from your perspective?
It was absolutely crazy. When we came around turn 6 there, it looked like a bomb had gone off. There was cars everywhere. I found my way on the grass, thought I was actually going to run into my own teammate. She got out of the way, and I was able to get back on track.
It's a nice thing to come home at the end of the day with the win and not hitting your teammate. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
So Steve Strymer picks up a win in TA3 International for the Dodge Viper team, the Lux Performance Bunch. Let's take a look at the championship standings in the chase for the 3-dimensional Trigon Trophy. Ruman still the leader. She gains ground on Paul Fix.
And Amy recovered very well today. Had that first lap incident, but still got a 6th place finish. Really helped her points.
Cameron Lawrence with an 11-point lead over Gar Robinson, Adam Andretti, and Shane Lewis, part of the top 5 in front of McIvern, who takes a hit. TA3 International, Lee Saunders in control by almost 60 points over Jerry Green and Jason Berkeley. And at TA3 American Muscle, Ernie Francis Jr. adding to his lead today over Napierowski. Now 45 markers to the good. And outside victory lane, Shea is with Ernie Francis.
Ernie, another day, another win, but what was it like out there?
It was absolutely crazy. From the start of the race, there was no grip at all. Some of the cars that had rain tires on went by us in the beginning. And as the race went on, the track dried up a little bit. We got some more grip with it, but it just kept on just being yellow after yellow, cars off the track. At one point, there was a complete blockage of the track, and it was just, everybody was just in a dead stop on the track trying to find a way to go. And I guess they ended up checkered flagging the race early for that one. But I think we came home with the win, so that's good enough, and we got some extra points, so I'm happy with that.
Well done.
Thank you.
Ernie Francis Jr. appears to be on his way to another TA3 American Muscle Championship. Our triple shot showdown winners. TA Paul Fix gets the trophy. Shane Lewis comes from behind at TA2.
And Dylan McIvern had a commanding lead, but unfortunately a rough day put Shane Lewis in that victory.
Ernie Francis and Lee Saunders, the winners in TA3 American and TA3 International categories in the 3-dimensional services triple shot showdown. We congratulate all those winners of the championship within a championship. 4 more races to go to settle the Trans Am titles in 2015. We'll return to our coverage at Daytona, the season finale in November. We'll have the coverage for you here on CBS Sports Network. For Michael McDowell and Shea Adam, I'm Rick Benjamin, congratulating first-time winner Jim McAleese and the rest of our winners today in the Next Dimension 100. Thanks for watching Trans Am, America's road racing series.